This episode of Moviebusters is brought to you by NordVPN.
Hello and welcome to Moviebusters. I'm Brian Hosky.
And I'm Alex Engineer.
And today, we're going to be doing a video about the highest grossing film of all time, Avengers Endgame. The fact that this movie is now the highest grossing film of all time
just shows how much money Disney can actually make.
Yeah. We're looking at a scene that nobody really talks about. It's the final battle scene of Avengers Endgame.
Let's say this right now. This is big spoilers.
Dude, it's the highest grossing film of all time. And you're telling everybody spoilers.
So we're specifically looking at one hero in this entire fight scene, the Ant of Man.
That's right, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man!
So there's a pivotal part in the final battle, which really is never addressed again. But basically, what happens is, at the beginning of the fight, Ant-Man becomes big, but then when he figures out that they need to send the gauntlet back in time, he shrinks down and he meets up with the Wasp and they go to the van. Then basically they head over there while they keep the gauntlet busy and try to get it over there.
Talk about how Tony's special,
blah, blah,
and
blah,
then
blah,
boom,
blah.
they're in.
So what happens is then Black Panther does this thing to everybody. They have their moment with Clint where he recognizes him, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But then, oh no!
Uh-oh.
Ant-Man is big again, and he's throwing the Chitauri snake worm thingy into the portal.
Doctor Strange portal.
But I didn't understand, Alex. I thought he was small in that van, and he was being like, whoa, I'm trying to hotwire this dead car. So it's obvious that, you know, Marvel and Disney being so smart and so rich and successful, it is not possible for them to make such a huge oversight. So obviously, they put the giant Ant-Man here on purpose, you know, for a reason. And we have a couple theories as to why this is.
Yeah. Can I go first?
No. It's my show and my channel. Stop talking. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and give your theory first?
Yeah, so essentially what I believe is Ant-Man being a doo-doo in the head doesn't know anything about quantum physics, okay? Mm-hmm. Alright, he was an idiot in the first Ant-Man. He grabbed the suit, pressed the button, and expected superpowers. He was sort of an idiot in 2, but he's still an idiot now, okay? He just got back 5 years later, and immediately he's like, I got a time machine, let's go. He hops in the van, but actually Wasp is doing all the work. Yes, he can hotwire a car because he's a criminal. I mean, that's what criminals do.
No. Okay, wait, no. My thing is, why is he now outside of the car?
Well, that's what I'm bringing up. He hotwires the car, and then he realizes that's the only thing he can do to help Wasp. So then he hops out of the car, turns big again, and this is helping Doctor Strange throw a worm in a hole. And then Ant-Man shrunk down, did all those other things. Then they recorded another scene where he just ran an Ant Panther.
You say Ant Panther?
Whoa! Oh, my Black Panther jumps in. He says, "Give it to me."
Give them to me now.
And then he jumps away, and then you see this shot. This was before Ant-Man realized he could do the van. Thus, they just edited it incorrectly.
That's an interesting theory, but it's wrong. I think this is Disney and Marvel's subtle middle finger to the audience. Because if you remember in the, it's one of the best films ever made. It's called Freddy Got Fingered. There's this one part of the film. This is the actual title of the film. So there's this one part where there's this guy who has an arm cast on, and he's purposely flipping off the audience. There's a moment like that just to say, hey, f*** you, we're making this movie. And this is that point in the film of Avengers Endgame where Marvel and Disney put this Ant-Man here. Now you're probably thinking, did they purposely put in a continuity error? No. You know why? Because I don't think that that is Ant-Man in the context of what they're trying to say to us. So as you know now, Disney and Marvel are now the biggest like juggernauts in like the film industry. They're just doing whatever. They made the highest grossing film of all time. They beat Avatar. Say what you will about Avatar or whatever. It's just toppled now over, whatever. Avengers Endgame. Marvel movies and superhero movies in general have completely dominated the box office, and it's currently represented. Disney and Marvel are now literal giants. And they're showing us that they're basically ready to take the film industry down. So I'm thinking that this is their subtle way of showing the audience that is not actually Ant-Man. That is Disney. And up what he's trying to put in, that's the film industry. And that portal is not actually a portal, it is a toilet. All this stuff is happening on screen, and we're so fixated on the Black Panther stuff that we don't notice Disney purposely ruining the livelihoods of everybody in the film industry. Yeah. Basically, we're obsessed with watching superhero Marvel movie extravaganza schlock that we're not focusing on the fact that Disney is just putting everybody out of a job. Disney is trying to overthrow the government. They're trying to overthrow us as people by showing us what they're planning on doing. So you know what? In fact, I'm going to take this a step further. It's not even Disney throwing away the film industry. That sky whale represents the American U.S. government. You know why? It's said by a lot of people, in fact, that Donald Trump and his cabinet are a bunch of whales. And the fact that Disney is turning into this colossal giant and throwing this sky whale into a toilet is basically saying that now that they made Avengers Endgame, they're coming for Trump and they're going to soon rule the U.S. government. No, in fact, this is even better. So it's theorized in some religions that God is basically a whale. Marvel and Disney are planning on they're planning on committing deicide on God himself and throwing him into the toilet. No, they're not even throwing him into the toilet. They're throwing him into hell. So basically what they're saying is that Disney and Marvel are going to take God, throw him into super hell, and they're going to rule the world with their movies. It all makes sense, Alex. I understand everything now. Everything about movies, everything beyond movies, everything about the universe in general. I understand everything about God. I understand the difference between life and death. I can see it, every atom, every electron in the entire universe. I fully comprehend what's happening. I finally see there are gods that are even bigger than us. There's a world even greater than us. And now, we, as citizens of the American people, have to stand up for what we believe in. We have to stand up against Disney. We have to stand up against these corporate money bags, these giants, literal giants, trying to take us down. And you know what? There's only one way to destroy it, Alex. We have to find the head of Walt Disney.
This episode of Moviebusters is not actually brought to you by NordVPN.